Picture this. It's a Tuesday morning in suburban Atlanta. A couple walks back into their home after 6 weeks living out of a hotel. The kitchen they dreamed about for years is finally done. Marble countertops, custom cabinetry, a waterfall island straight out of a Pinterest board. And then the contractor sends the final invoice. $103,000 for a project that was supposed to cost $60,000. They paid it because by that point, they had no choice. I'm going to show you exactly how that happened. The real decisions, the red flags they ignored, the contractor tricks that drained their account, and the single biggest mistake that cost them over $40,000 more than they ever budgeted. I have the receipts, the contracts, the change orders, and the hard lessons that come after you've already paid for them. Stay until the end, because the mistake I reveal in the final section is the one nobody talks about, and it is the one that will absolutely destroy your renovation budget if you don't know it's coming. If you've ever wondered whether your renovation budget is actually safe, or you're already mid-project and something feels off, subscribe right now, because this channel exists specifically for you. Every video here is built around one goal: making sure U.S. homeowners go into renovations with the facts, the process, and the protection they actually need, not the highlight reel version. After you subscribe, hit like if this topic is useful to you, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss what's coming next. I'm dropping a full contractor vetting checklist next week, built specifically for the U.S. market, covering every question, every document, and every red flag in one place. And you need to be subscribed before it goes live. Now let's get into it. Let's be clear about what we're examining here. This was not a vanity project. This was a legitimate whole home update on a 1980s ranch-style home in a growing suburb, a home that needed real work before it was livable to modern standards. The original scope: gut and rebuild the kitchen, renovate 2 full bathrooms, and refinish the original hardwood floors throughout. The couple did their research. They got 3 quotes. They set a budget of $60,000 with a 15% contingency buffer, the number every renovation article on the internet tells you to add. They felt prepared. They felt like they'd done everything right. And for about the first 10 days, everything looked fine. Then the walls came open, and the real story began. Mistake number 1: hiring on price, not proof. Let's start with the contractor selection, because this is where the entire disaster was set in motion. 3 quotes came in: $74,000, $68,000, $51,000. The lowest bidder got the job. The reasoning made sense in the moment. He had online reviews, he seemed professional, and the savings of $17,000 to $23,000 felt like a win before the project even started. Here's what didn't happen. Nobody called his references directly. Nobody verified that his contractor's license was current. In 2026, every single state has a free online license lookup portal that takes under 5 minutes to use. Nobody requested a certificate of liability insurance from his provider. Nobody asked to physically visit a recently completed job. In 2026, skilled construction labor is genuinely expensive and in short supply. The post-pandemic workforce gap in the trades never fully closed. Experienced framers, electricians, and tile setters are commanding rates that reflect real market value. When someone bids dramatically below 2 other licensed professionals, the math has to work out somewhere. And it always works out by cutting corners on your project, your timeline, or your materials. A low bid is not a bargain. A low bid is a warning sign wearing a number you want to hear. Mistake number 2, the scope creep trap. The contractor started demo in week 1. By day 4, he appeared at the door with that specific look on his face that every renovation veteran will immediately recognize. The slow exhale, the slight shake of the head, the words, "We opened up some walls and found a few things." A few things turn out to be galvanized plumbing that hadn't been updated since the house was built, electrical panels that weren't within current code, and subfloor rot beneath the kitchen from slow leak that had been quietly spreading for years. Every single item was framed as urgent. Every single item required an immediate decision. And here's the trap. Once demo has started, you're no longer a buyer with options. You are a hostage with an open kitchen and nowhere to cook dinner. The leverage has completely shifted. Every change order was signed. Because what was the alternative? What should have happened before a single wall was touched was hiring an independent home inspector to walk the full project scope. Not a contractor. An inspector with zero financial stake in what they find. In 2026, there are also remote consultation services where licensed contractors review your project plans and flag likely surprises via video call for under $100. These services exist specifically because of situations like this one. Use them before the demo crew shows up. Mistake number 3, the payment schedule disaster. This is the mistake that caused the most financial damage and the one that is the most preventable. The contractor requested 50% of the total contract value up front. His explanation was reasonable sounding. Material suppliers require deposits. He needed to hold the crew's schedule, lumber and fixture prices fluctuate. It all tracked. The check was written. Standard industry practice, in 2026, as it has always been, is a maximum of 10 to 15% upfront to cover genuine material deposits, with all remaining payments tied directly to completed, inspectable milestones. The final payment, no less than 10 to 15% of the total, should never be released until every item on the punch list is finished and the homeowner has signed off in writing. After the first 50% payment, progress slowed, then slowed more. Another draw request arrived, framed as necessary to keep momentum going. That check was written too. By the time the pattern became undeniable, the contractor had collected approximately 75% of the total contract value and completed roughly 40% of the scope. What followed was months of attorney demand letters, failed mediation attempts, and an eventual settlement that came with its own legal fees attached. The financial recovery was partial. The time lost was total. Never let your payments outrun your progress. Write it down. Put on your bathroom mirror. Tattoo it somewhere visible if that's what it takes. If you felt that, because if the payment schedule section just hit you harder than you expected, that is not a coincidence. That mistake alone accounts for the single largest chunk of the $43,400 in overruns we're breaking down today. If you're not subscribed yet, do that right now. The contractor vetting checklist dropping next week goes deep on payment structure specifically, and it is built for people who are already mid-project, not just planning. Keep watching, because mistakes 4 and 5 are the ones that almost nobody talks about going in, and they are just as expensive. Mistake number 4. Design decisions made mid-project. Separate entirely from the contractor problems, this mistake belongs completely to the homeowners. And it is one of the most expensive patterns in residential renovation. The design was not finalized before demo started. The plan was to decide on materials, finishes, and layouts as the project progressed. That approach has a name in the construction industry. It's called a change order machine. Every mid-project design change costs money in multiple directions simultaneously. Cabinets already ordered to one specification and then changed to another configuration carry restocking fees and reorder lead times. Electrical rough-in completed for one island dimension and then revised after the walls are closed requires the electrician to return for a second visit build at current rates. A finish change from one fixture style to another after orders are placed triggers both return fees and new purchase costs at the same time. In 2026, there is genuinely no excuse for underprepared design work. Free AI-powered room planning tools render spaces in 3 dimensions from a phone. Kitchen design services at major home improvement retailers offer free or low-cost planning sessions. Independent interior designers offering flat-fee consultations, typically between $150 and $500, will save multiples of their fee in avoided change orders on any project over $30,000. Lock in every material, every finish, every dimension, every fixture model number before the first tool touches the first wall. That is not an exaggeration. Mistake number 5, ignoring the permit process. The contractor stated that the scope of work, which included structural modifications, electrical panel upgrades, and new plumbing runs, did not require permits. Whether that statement was an honest misreading of local code or a deliberate misrepresentation to avoid inspection delays is something that was never definitively established. It was wrong either way. In 2026, permit enforcement has tightened considerably across most U.S. municipalities. Insurance companies are increasingly requiring documentation of permitted work before issuing or renewing homeowner policies on renovated properties. Some jurisdictions now use supply chain data and contractor licensing activity to flag likely unpermitted construction for proactive inspection. The era of significant structural work going unnoticed is closing faster than most homeowners realize. The practical consequence in this case: completed walls, fully drywalled, primed, and painted, had to be opened for inspections that should have happened during rough-in. The cost of that rework came to approximately $6,000. On top of that, unpermitted improvements become a documented liability at resale. Buyers' agents pull permit records in every serious transaction. Unpermitted work either kills a deal entirely or hands the buyer a negotiating hammer at exactly the moment you least want them to have one. Pull the permits. Every single one. Always. Most people assume renovation budgets blow up because of bad luck. A hidden pipe, a surprise foundation issue, an unusual material shortage. And sometimes that's true. But the honest pattern, the one that shows up again and again across thousands of projects, is that budgets fail because homeowners treat renovation like a purchase instead of project. Purchasing is transactional. You agree on a price, exchange value, and the deal is done. Project management is dynamic. Scope evolves, conditions change, decisions compound on each other, and every delay or revision creates downstream costs that weren't visible at the start. In 2026, the average full kitchen renovation in a mid-range U.S. market runs between $80,000 and $130,000. Bathroom renovations for a primary bath full gut average $25,000 to $45,000. Homeowners who come in with expectations built on 5-year-old numbers or social media highlight reels are already behind before the project starts. Material costs have stabilized from the post-pandemic volatility years. Labor has not and will not. Skilled tradespeople are expensive because they are valuable and in demand. Budgeting against market reality is not pessimism. It is the only version of planning that works. Based on what went wrong in this project, here is what legitimate red flags actually look like in today's market. Requesting more than 15% upfront is a red flag. Not providing a signed, itemized scope of work before starting is a red flag. Vague contract language that describes work by category rather than by specific material and method is a red flag. Pressure to make decisions quickly because of claimed material shortages or scheduling urgency, without documentation, is a red flag. Resistance to permit applications is a significant red flag. Legitimate, established contractors in 2026 are busy but not so desperate for your deposit that they need 50% before lifting a tool. They welcome detailed contracts because clear scope protects them as much as it protects you. They pull permits because their license depends on it. They provide insurance certificates directly from their carrier, not a PDF they email you themselves. In 2026, AI-assisted contract review tools can analyze a contractor agreement and flag unfair or missing clauses in under 10 minutes. Several are available free or at low cost. Running your contract through one before signing requires no legal expertise and costs almost nothing. There is no reason not to. Let's be fair about where the pressure to cut corners actually comes from. Renovation costs are genuinely hard to absorb for most households. The desire to find a lower bid is understandable. The impulse to skip design work to save a consultation fee makes sense on paper. The temptation to take a contractor's word on permits rather than navigating a local government process is real. None of that makes those choices less expensive in the end, but understanding why they happen makes it easier to build a process that prevents them. Now here's what the right process actually looks like in practice, because it's worth seeing clearly. A homeowner in Nashville ran a similar kitchen and bath renovation in early 2026. Same scope, similar home age. She spent 4 weeks in design lockdown before demo started. Every cabinet, every tile, every fixture selected and confirmed with lead times verified. She hired her contractor after calling 3 references and visiting a completed job in person. Her contract ran 11 pages. Her payment schedule had 5 milestones. Her project finished 9 days ahead of schedule and $3,200 under budget. Same market, same 2026 labor rates. Different process, dramatically different outcome. Based on the full picture, the contracts, the change orders, the legal correspondence, the final invoice. Here's where the $43,400 in overruns actually went. Scope creep from undisclosed conditions drove approximately $14,000 in costs, some of which were legitimate and unavoidable, some of which likely were not. Mid-project design changes generated $9,500 in change orders that would have been zero with pre-project design lock-in. The contractor dispute and partial recovery process, including legal fees, cost $7,800 net after the settlement. Permit rework on completed surfaces cost $6,000. Extended hotel accommodation during the delayed timeline cost $4,200. Miscellaneous premium charges from rushing final materials after the contractor dispute cost approximately $1,900. None of these numbers are unusual. All of them were preventable. Now here is what to do differently. The 5-step protection plan. Here is the straightforward process that eliminates most of what went wrong in this project. 1. Vet before you hire. License check, insurance certificate, direct reference calls, and a physical visit to a completed project. Non-negotiable on every single one. 2. Lock design before demo. Every material, every finish, every fixture confirmed with lead times verified. No exceptions for we'll figure out. 3. Structure payments to milestones. Maximum 10 to 15% upfront. Every subsequent payment tied to a specific, inspectable stage of completion. Final payment held until punch list sign-off. 4. Pull every permit. If your contractor resists or discourages this, that is your answer. Walk away. 5. Get a real contract. Specific materials called out by name and model number. Project schedule with milestone dates. Change order process in writing. Dispute resolution clause included. License and insurance numbers documented on the first page. That process costs time up front. It costs a fraction of what the alternative costs later. The data is honest. A $100,000 renovation is not a sign that something went catastrophically wrong. In 2026, in most mid-size American metros, it is increasingly what full gut renovations actually cost. The real story is not the final number. The real story is how $43,400 of it was completely avoidable. The couple in Atlanta eventually finished their home. The kitchen is beautiful. The bathrooms are done. And they spent the months after the project closed turning everything they learned the hard way into a process they'll never skip again. Both paths, careful preparation and rushed optimism, end with a finished house eventually. But only one of them ends with your finances intact, your timeline respected, and your relationship with your home still a positive one. You now have every fact from their story. The mistakes, the costs, the red flags, and the process that prevents all of it. What you do with it is entirely up to you. Before you go, drop a comment below and tell me where you are right now. Are you still in planning phase, mid-project, and starting to feel the pressure? Or are you on the other side of a story that sounds a lot like Atlanta? I read every single comment, and your experience might be exactly what saved someone else from a very expensive lesson. And if you're not subscribed yet, do that right now before you click away, because this is exactly the kind of content this channel puts out every single week, and you don't want to miss what's coming next. If you want to go further, the video on screen right now walks you through how to read a contractor contract line by line, what to demand, what to reject, and what missing clauses actually mean for your budget. Watch that next. And if this breakdown was useful to you, share it with one person who has a renovation coming up this year. One share could save them tens of thousands of dollars. I'll see you in the next one.